So are we live? Looks like I'm live. No, where's am I? Okay. Yes, so we are live on YouTube, and I hope people can watch this session. I don't know. I can see two people are waiting. Is it live? It's showing live. My page is not getting
Yeah,
refreshed. Okay, so it's live. Great. So welcome everyone.
26th November. Book now.
What's that? It's playing the ad. Okay. So
yeah.
great everyone. This is Navin Reddy from Telusko Learning, and okay, today's topic is software testing. In fact, we do this session every week, right?
My page is not getting refreshed.
Okay, I can hear my own voice. Saurabh, I guess your mic is on. Just I guess you're playing on speaker.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay now.
Okay, great. So as we know, every time we go live and we talk about, we discuss with different industry expert. And this week we have Saurabh Verma. And the topic is exciting because I don't know much about it. And that's why I'm very excited for the topics which I'm not aware of. And we get so many questions on that topic. In fact, when I go for training, when I talk to different people, they have this question very commonly, what's the future of software testing? And if I get into software testing, what things I have to do? And if you're interested in software testing, what's the path? What are the opportunities in software testing? So, and I'm not able to, give proper response because I'm not sure about it. And that's why we got an industry expert here who is Saurabh, who is working in tech industry from a long time. And I would let Saurabh talk about himself more because he knows more about himself than I know. So Saurabh, all yours.
Thanks, Naveen. Thanks for your introduction. And as you say, welcome, aliens. Yeah. So, so I've been in software industry from last 11 years. And in the starting of my career, I was also confused what to do, what not to do. Yeah, that's what happens. And yeah, it's a good feel. And you get to know a lot of things when you are part of a software testing field. So one thing you should remember is the software testing is all about knowing everything in the application. And if something goes wrong in your application, you are the first person who will get caught. So this is not to scare you, but you know what kind of a responsibility we take. So it's like you put the quality thing. So I used to remember my mom or someone in my family used to ask me, what do you do in software industry? So I used to say that, you remember in old days, we used to have VCR. I don't know how many of you have seen VCR or any electronic item. There you might have seen a tested OK sticker. Yeah, a round color, black color, red and green color sticker, which was saying tested OK and a check mark. So that's what I used to say, that, and that sticker says the validation of any product. It says, okay, this is an authenticated product. Someone has tested it, and I rely on this particular product. And that's how people used to buy the product. So that's okay sticker. Who puts that sticker? Is that the people who are doing the testing for it. Are you a little bit of aware now about what software testing is? And there are many examples. If product been not tested good, I've seen in this NASA projects getting failed, and why they getting failed is properly. So when we launch any product, it can be software or hardware, anything. When you launch, you take this thing, you test it thoroughly, and you test it thoroughly in some environment, and you see how it is going to behave in the actual environment. And then you may get defects on it, or you may not get defect. When you get the defects, you fix those defects. And when I say you fix defect, it's the entire team which fix the defect. So your entire team is all about testers, developers, product manager, everyone. Yep. And then we fix it, and then we launch the product. So this is what the software testing is we do, right? So now let me see if I can answer some of your questions which people have asked. I think Naveen might have shared you some form where he might have asked you to fill up some questions, a kind of a preliminary questions which I can take up and answer, clears your doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, I have sent them the link in the previous video, the announcement video, where I have mentioned 2 links. the link for this video, the live one, and the form where you can submit your questions. And we have received some good amount of questions, right, Saurabh? So we can.
Oh yeah. There are lot of questions.
Yeah. People are very interested.
Yeah, it's an interesting field actually, and the best part, anyone can do software testing. It's not about you being a part of IT background or you've been doing your engineering and computer science. If you are from a medical background, you are from semiconductor industry or anything. We do software testing in our day-to-day life. So I'm not saying software testing, but we do testing in our day-to-day life. You go and buy the phone, you do a testing of that before you buy it, right? So yeah, so in a way we all are tester, and that's how it is. Yeah. Okay, so let me see what questions we have. So I'll take the first one, which is what are the prerequisites to get started with software testing? Okay, right. So the prerequisite is you need to be knowing a basic protocols how to do the software testing. And I won't say software testing. I think it's just in my tongue right now coming software testing. So how to do the testing. So the basic things is there are certain protocols. Like when you say, I want to become a programmer, there is certain protocols when you write a program. You have certain loops, you have variables, and then you write a functions. And then that's how you construct your logic and you give your program. So same way it goes with software testing also. So then we say that you need to be knowing what is manual testing, what is functional testing, what is ad hoc testing, what is regression testing. So these are the few points or few concepts which should be known before you get into this field. If you're aware of these concepts, then what will happen? You may talk in a language which development team can understand. And it will be easy for them if you find something as some bug, which I think the way Naveen used to say, a eureka moment for you. So the moment you find a bug, it's a eureka moment for you, and you need to express that, and you express it to your development team. And the way you express is again a kind of protocol, a procedure through which we accept, and that's how all things you learn in software testing. Yeah. Okay, so the prerequisite is you should be aware of what is manual testing, and there are certain things like what is software development life cycle and what happens when the software is released to the market. So these are the prerequisite for software testing, I would say. And to get into this field, the only one requirement is you should be self-motivated. If you are motivated and you know that I can break this software, any software or any application, that is where you are into this field. Okay, now I have one. Yeah,
great. In fact, we can take those first questions. I mean, the questions from the form first.
Okay, yeah.
Because let's pick up those one first.
Okay, great. So I have, oh wow, I have a good amounts of questions for me to answer right now. Great. Let's get started. So what do the first one say? So I want, so I'm not going to take any name right now. So I have a list of questions with me, Naveen, and I'm going to respond them. So let's see. Yeah. So if any particular question a person wants to know, they can raise their hand or just put it in the live chat. I think you can forward me with the name, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, so I have first question, which says that I want to ask whether I should start my career with software testing program or directly try for a developer program. Oh, okay. I think this person is more a kind of a fresher who wants to know that where do I go? Should I go into development field or should I go into the testing field? See, it totally depends on your choice and the way you think. So if you feel that I can code the logics and I can build a beautiful software which users going to like it very much, go into the development field. If you feel that no, anybody has built that software and I want to inspect that software, I want to I want to know how do I break this software, get into the software testing program. And okay, and start programmer. So programmer, I don't get what you mean by the software testing programmer. You mean to say automation testing or development testing? So a little bit confusion there, but that's what I believe this question is all about. So it totally depends which field you to choose. So it's all about you. You have to make your choice. You need to make your choice that I want to get into something where I want to break the things, and I want to give a people a software or a product which is a defect free. Get into the testing field. That is your job. If you feel no, I want to fix the things, then get into development field. Yeah, that's how it works, right? So let's go into the second one, which says why we use Java. We have Kotlin. Oh yeah, it's not Kotlin. We also have C#. We have scripting. We have Perl scripting, VB scripting. We have Python, where we have C#. There are a lot of language. It's totally on to you what you want to use. Mainly people you prefer Java because it's a word. I mean, it's widely known to the people. C# again, it's a paid version. It's not an open source. Python is gaining right now. When you talk about a scripting like VB script from Microsoft, limited things. I'm just talking in the sense of where software testing is all. So yeah, you may see that in software testing, people just say that go with Java or go with any one scripting language. The question here is not why this programming language. It should be more, how do I build my logics, right? And if you know any one programming language, either it's C, C++, Java, Python, anyone, I think that should be the deal. And moreover, like Java is actually compatible with a lot of your software testing tools which are available in the market. So that's the reason people prefer Java there, right? And there are a lot of like things like right nowadays you heard about like API testing, GUI testing, all these things. So when you talk about API testing, you use Java there mostly. Then when you want to do anything of backend testing or like no SQL kind of testing where you have MongoDB, there you use Java. So and again now big data testing, all there Java is being used. So people prefer Java there. And Kotlin, even I have not worked, but yes, I would love to see what Kotlin is. I think it's a subset of Java only. Yeah. So yeah, it depends what you choose. Yes. So let's see what we have next. I want to know which is the right time for manual tester like me to jump into automation. Every time is a good time to jump into the automation. And yeah,
provided you know.
Yeah,
you have the skills, yeah.
Right. So as I said, see, as in if you are coming from a background which is non-IT background, when I say non-IT, it's mean you're not from the programming background. Stick to manual testing for 1 year, understand the process of manual testing, and then get into the automation testing, because both are different. Automation testing is more about a development thinking, and manual testing is more about breaking the product. So even when we make an automation testing to a framework or a tool, we give it to the manual testing team to work on that, and they give you like if anything breaks or anything goes off, they come to the automation testing team and they say, fix this thing for me. So you understand, automation testing is more like testing the product, but from the development perspective. Yeah. So any time is a good time to jump into that. But I would recommend if you really want to like grow into testing field, because one drawback with automation testing is, if let's say you started your career as an automation testing engineer, you will not learn the essence of the manual testing. And believe me or not, when there is any breakdown of a software, any failure, it's not the automation team is asked. The moment any failure happens, it's a manual testing. We do manual testing on that. We don't rely on automation testing that much. So yeah, so now you have to make your call, which should I choose, right? Okay, so let's move to the other one. Sir, I have selected as a Java developer, but I have been given the manual testing job. And from the last 3 months, from the date of joining, so I'm interested in development field. If it is fine, I can quit this job and find Java developer job.
Okay,
Uh,
first of all, sort of welcome to the software industry world, guy. This is what happens.
right. Now, this is a very interesting question, and the only thing which is worrying me in this particular question is if I quit this job. Uh, Friends, don't ever think about this. If you are trying to quit a job, make sure you have a backup for you. Backup in sense you have an additional job in your hand, you have enough money to support you for 2-3 months at least. Finding another job is not so easy. Trust me, it's not so easy to get another job. So I believe we get, so Naveen or friends, other, when we join engineering, I've been from this background. The first year when you go into your engineering, you always think that I am a CEO of the company. Second in years, you say, okay, I'm a manager of the company. Third year, you feel, okay, I'm a senior engineer. And by the time you pass out from the engineering, you know that I am no one but only a junior engineer or a security guard to the company. So you realize the things by that time. So so if you have got the job, it's a very good thing. Do one thing I would suggest you, if you want to move into the, I think many of the companies offer you that thing where they say that stick to one project or one product for 18 months, and then you can shift your career. So if you want to try, if it's a very good company, I would say look for IJP inside the company itself, and go for IJPs, which is called internal job posting. Apply there. Have a good repo within your company, and have a network with people into development side. And what best you can do, I would say, at this particular moment, you showcase your work. Showcase in a way where people should know by your work. And the moment you say that, and then you can put up your point that I want to do development. So I think people will agree. You won't believe, I come from the background where I was doing support, tech support. I was into the call center, and I moved into the sales field. Being in support center, I got an option to move into the sales field because I made a very good sales for 3 months there in my support. And I was supporting Apple that time, Apple iPods. And I sold a good amount of Apple iPods. I moved into the sales, and then I realized, no, I don't want to be here. And then I moved into testing field. So you see how I changed the things. In between, I have done a little bit of DBA, which is your database administration job, and I've also done a little bit of configuration stuff. So you remember one thing: in industry is not about testing and development. It's there are a lot of things which happens in the industry. It starts from DBA. You have product management, you have a lot of things which is there. You have a configuration management. Nowadays DevOps is getting a lot of things. There is a release operations team. Then you have a maintenance team, escalations team. So there are a lot of fields within the industry. And as I told you, try to stick to your job. Have, because if it is your first job, I would say, or a second job, stick for some time. You will learn a lot of things. And manual testing is not so boring. It's actually good. When you may start loving it, because development, again, it's something, I would say, I won't say development is wrong, but you get limited scope. What if tomorrow you get into development also and you don't find it good? I have friends in development from days and days. They are only they're just making labels. Naveen can answer that. They just go to some website and they're making labels there, and that's how they say development. And people are there in development for 4 or 5 years, and they come for interview, and I interview them, but they don't know basics also. When I go to them and ask what you're doing, they say, okay, on a website, you know what, you see a button, I used to put a label on that button. I was like, oh wow, that's a good thing you do, but that doesn't mean that you are into development, right? So there are a lot of things which happen. If you see that, yes, I have a guarantee, if I quit my job, I can surely get next job within 1 or 2 months. Go quit it and go for your passion. But then think twice. before leaving the job. Just think twice. Yeah. Then we have next one which says, why is that the testing team comes first when laying off? Uh, I don't.
I mean, okay. So I've never seen this scenario yet.
Yeah,
That
but
testing people are laid off first.
so I've been part of. I think I can answer this question. I've been part of 3 layoffs, and I have never seen a person being laid off from the testing team only. Okay, so layoff, there are a lot of things which is when you say a layoff, it's from outside. You may think I've seen person sitting next to me has been gone, and he was very good programmer. He was a very good a person in his performance. Yet he been laid off. The other person who been laid off, he was not so good performer, but that was like, okay, makes sense. Now, I'll tell you why people get laid off. There are 2 3 things keep in mind. Uh, First thing is, your salary is more than what is the budget of the company. So when we say this, let's say I have been allocated, my team has been allocated 10,000 rupees. My team who is charging 6,000 rupees, I definitely let him go. I'll say I won't, because that's a huge invest. I mean, liability. With year, it will become a liability on me. Second thing, are you ready for the changes? And believe me, when you are in industry for 2 or 3 more than 4 years, you spend in the industry in some kind of a work, maybe development, some kind of particular field, or in testing, you are doing similar kind of job for 2 3 years, and you are actually away from what's happening in the market, and you are not ready for the change. What happens? Company says, I'm going to, so you have followed a waterfall model or any model in your company, and then later management comes to you and say, hey, from tomorrow onwards we're going agile. And you were like, oh wow, agile, what should I do now? And then you are not ready for that change. You try to boycott that changes. You say, no, you know what, I am stuck. I'm loyal employee to this company. Everything is going good with this company. I'm not going to change my to agile. That's where you will be asked to lay off. So there are a lot of scenarios. I mean, there are, I think, when you go and spend some time in industry, it's not about software industry, in any industry. In manufacturing, if you see from software to manufacturing industry, there are a lot of layoffs in manufacturing compared to software. But we tend to see it in software more likely because we are from this field. There are a lot of layoffs. So it's not, just make sure that you should try, be ready for the changes. And when we say changes, it's like, keep learning new things. You won't believe, I am in a industry from 11 12 years, and I keep learning new things. Right now I'm learning something new, which I started learning. I want to go into this big data, and that's not you want to jump into that field, but it's more like you should know what is happening in the market, right? And it's not only about the testing. Keep learning something new. Develop some other skills like presentation skills. Develop something. Nowadays you can even go for YouTube. You can go and learn what YouTube is all about, how you do analytics in YouTube. All these things you can do. Just learn something new. You never know what can help you in your future, right? So yeah, and don't worry about layoffs. See, one thing, if you are good, you should not worry about layoff that much. And second, don't love your company, love your people say, oh, this is my dream company, I love my company. Love your job, don't love your company. You never know, today you are a good asset to company, tomorrow they feel, oh, you are a liability to me, get off. So don't. Okay, so the better software, I have the other one which says better profile software tester or software analyst. Again, I think I have already answered this in previous. It depends on your choice, on your personal choice. And software testing, if you want to go into testing, and I think software analyst, you're more talking about the QC role. Yeah, it's a good role. If you feel that, no, I don't want, it's more like a process oriented, where you define the process which is going to be followed in the team. So yeah, that's also one of the good role. But
Saurabh, I have a question for you. you. This question is from Suraj, and the question is very interesting. Is it necessary for oh no, not that one.
Okay.
Okay, where's that? Yeah, so from Dilip. The question is from Dilip, and the question is, nowadays developer alone is ready to test. So
Yeah.
what's the use of tester?
So nowadays developer is alone to test, and then
Why we need testers when developer can test the software?
Oh, well, I can say a reverse. Now tester can also develop. Why do we need a developer?
That's a big debate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm learning Java with you. I've been learning it from long, and I believe I can code. Yeah. Why do I need developer? So you counter that question, Dilip. You know what? You should counter that question. Oh, why do even I need?
I mean, just to answer from my side for this question is, I feel there's a different way of thinking when you talk about developers and testers. Developers always have a positive mindset. We can solve this issue, but testers, how can you solve that issue? There's always an issue with a solution.
Correct.
Because
so
as a developer, you always have that positiveness. Okay, it will work. As a tester, you will always have that thinking it will not work. I will find a bug in that. There's always a bug in some software.
And Naveen, to tell you now even most of the companies, you know what they do. I think the lead question was like, why do we have this field? At point it comes, most of the company, they prefer a testing background person to get into the development, because they know when a tester writes a code, he, as you told, he knows it very well. This may give a problem. I should take care of this. Yeah. And moreover, the second thing, why do we need tester is also important. Naveen, you wrote a code and you believe that it's a good code, but somebody has to inspect that, right?
Yeah.
And if somebody has to inspect, it's a tester who has to inspect it. So there is always an inspection. And I tell you the example of all the companies, there is always a 1:4 ratio. So there will be 4 developer, there will be 1 tester. Means there is a reverse ratio when there is a mission critical product. In Google, you have 1:4 ratio, where is 1 developer and 4 tester. You won't believe. So that's how the ratio changed there. And mission critical, when we say, when you go to NASA products or ISRO, they have a different kind of role where they say 1 developer, 10 testers. So you won't say that no, why don't we need that? There is always a need of a tester, and this field will never go. Because when I am a developer, I can develop to certain, I know certain things, I can develop that thing. But tomorrow, let's say you come to me and say that, I have a product related to accounting. I don't know accounting, but a tester knows it very well. He knows what is accounting because he will study that chapter or that particular, lesson, and then comes for testing. So domain knowledge is what you get as a testing. But as a development, you don't get that domain knowledge. So I think that's something which is in similar line. Yeah. So that's how it goes. So you don't worry, tester will be always there. I am there for 11 years, 12 years. I know I will be there for 10 more years. If that was the case, I should have tried for something else, right? Yeah.
Right. Perfect.
Yes, so let's move to the other one, which says Scotland. Oh, okay, we did that one. Why is testing team? Okay, we did that. I attended too many interviews as I am a final year engineering student, but I haven't found any IT company looking for testing profession. So I am interested in the field, but it's worth it. Should I take testing career as an option for next 4 or 5 years? Please answer, because because I know every Java technology, including MVCs, still not placed. Okay. I think this guy wants to, this person or my friend of mine is first thing, if you are attending your interviews, in your interviews, are you sure that your team is, or the person who is interviewing is asking for the development background? I don't think so. Because when I interview, I go for campus interview, I never look for a person who is into development or into testing or into this. What we look in interview, so when we interview any fresher or 1 or 2 years of experience person, we never look how good they are in Java or any kind of programming language, no matter what, or they are good into testing. We don't never look all those things. What we look is how confident you are, how easily you can solve the things, what are the different ways you go for solving the things. So that is what we look, and that always comes in development as well as in testing. So make sure you have to not work on, right, because right now as you are in final year, I would say start working. So this is for every final year engineering people, because I have attended a lot of interviews, and I am part of where other side of the chair where I take interviews. So yeah, so what happens is, where we always there I think there is objective questions. Try to solve all the objective questions, then you will get one or two those questions are related to programming. And that's not because they want to check your programming skills, but they want to check how good you are in solving skills. So there are two things. One is, can I code, or one thing is, how can I build the logic. So they're most looking for how you can get the logic and how you can get different ways of solving the things. So work on your aptitude, and work on your data structures, I would say. Because most of the company look for data structure. So all this for final year students and 1 or 2 years of experience student. Work on your data structure, no matter if even if you are in testing or in new development or in DB or in technical support, or you are in any kind of field. But if you are looking a job in IT, work on aptitude, work on your data structures, work on any of one of your choice of your programming language, and then I don't think so you will get rejected anywhere. So these are the three things you should keep in mind, and be confident and be straight when you say, when I ask you some questions as an interviewer, when I say, okay, what do you mean by classes, a simple example. And if you don't know, say that I don't know. Don't just say, oh, I think classes could be something like this. No, I'm not interested in your thinking. It should be same, I don't know. Be straight on that. Say I don't know, but I would love to know what it is. I think there are different presentation or interviewing skills where you should work on this, right? So that and if you are, after that also, if you want to choose your career again, what is should I look testing as my career option for the next 6 5 6 years? If you want to try in that, yeah, you can look. Yeah, that's something I think we have already answers in past questions. So yeah, how penetration testing for website differ from, okay, so penetration testing is more about the security testing, and your software testing is more about your functional testing. So there are two fields in two, and I won't say two, but there are majority of fields in software testing. So security testing is where you try to hack the system, and you hack the system not by doing functional testing, but trying to penetrate in the system, like if your particular project is connecting to DB, or it's connecting to some other server which is located on AWS or anywhere. So in that, the network goes from, you pass acknowledgement happens. So like you send some data and then some data comes back. In between, you can encrypt, decrypt the data. Those are the things are called. So if you, I would say it's a good field. And if you are someone who are into like ethical hacking, I won't say hacking, but ethical hacking, if you believe that uh, I should take this as my career, I think this is a start. Penetration testing is a good start, where you can learn about the things about how people hack the system and how can I prevent my system from hacking. It's a good field. You get a job in banking domain in this. And again, some security, network securities, and antivirus companies also look for penetration testing. But again, you are limiting yourself if you are into penetration testing. So believe this. If you feel, yeah, I really want to stick into this, then go for it. But open yourself for everything. So as a tester, you should be open actually for everything, and you should be knowing this thing. Yeah. And then let's go to the next one. I want to learn at first about concrete and symbolic testing. Okay. And then I want to know the new idea by mixing these two. Okay. Okay. So you want to mix both of them, right? Okay. Let me see what you mean by that. Okay. I think I need more concentration on this particular question. And uh, May I know who has asked this question, or I can just, or you can rephrase this question. Also, I want to know what are the drawback of these testing method and how to mitigate these flaws. Concrete or symbolic testing. I have never done this testing, but I don't know. Maybe I need to rephrase this question. I need to look this question again, Naveen. So if someone has asked, I would surely like to know the name. Maybe if he is not giving here, or if he's okay to give here, you can rephrase that and send it on the chat. I'll definitely look onto this. Yeah, I'll pass this question for now.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
In fact, the question I've sent you one, which one? Please mention some point related to in the Hangout chat.
Okay, I'll just go to that one.
That
Okay.
looks interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what. Okay, so please mention some points related. Okay, user expect. Okay, acceptance UAT. Okay, so we always do UAT. And what is monkey gorilla? Okay, okay. And then what we have is, okay. So yeah, so let's see. Okay, so let me come to the Hangout questions first. Yeah. So yeah, so I have a question where people are asking what is UAT or user acceptance testing, mainly alpha testing and beta testing. So when we do a testing, so when you are doing it in-house, so your product is ready to be released, but before that you do some testing in-house. Uh, that testing is called your alpha testing, wherein when you do the testing going out house where actually the product is going to be deployed in the production, then you perform some testing there also. That is called beta testing. So this is again, client asks for these kind of testing. So this they'll so alpha testing is something which you are doing in-house before releasing it to the client, and beta testing is more getting into the client environment and doing. So nowadays it's not about alpha beta, but now we have a concept called testing environment, staging environment, and production. So anything which you are doing in a staging environment is called alpha, but what you're doing in your production environment is your beta testing. Okay. And monkey, gorilla, these three are only ad hoc testing form. Yeah, the name looks very, I'll tell you in very interesting way. If you give your keyboard to a monkey or a gorilla, what they're going to do? They're going to just cut doing the thing, because they don't know about the product, right? uh, so or you the best thing is you give your product. So what we do, I do generally, or we do in our team, we make a software and then we release that software to some people who are not aware of that software at all. So like, I would say the examples are these smartphones. Again, I think phones are something which is very common nowadays. So what happens when first time you gave a phone to your grandma or your grandpapa, anyone who has not seen that kind of phone, right? Or any kind of so what they do is they just meddle with that phone, and this phone, and they'll try to see what best I can do in this phone. So those things why we do now these monkey testing, gorilla testing is same thing. In this testing we don't know about the software at all, and we just try to randomly do something on that software in order to break that software, because there are certain kind of people. When you make a product, it's not only for some user, but for a lot of users, right? So some user will be of your kind who don't know about the product, and you need to make sure when such users are using your software doesn't break, right? So yeah, it should not break. In fact, I don't know, I should give you an example of not enough testing done on Samsung phone and it started blasting. So this is not related to this alpha or beta testing, but this is something which has happened. I'll tell you the importance of testing. Everything functional testing was done properly. I mean, the software is really good. Everything was good. Even I think battery testing might have done, but they have not done the battery testing in a way thinking that okay, in this atmosphere it can even burst. So those things happen, right? So this is what the importance of testing is all about. Yeah. So yeah, gorilla testing and monkey testing are the form of ad hoc testing. Whenever you have a question, because I think this is a common question being asked to in a lot of interviews, what do you mean by gorilla testing or monkey testing? Just say these are the ad hoc testing where people don't know about the software and they just try to break the software, or they work on the software thinking what next will be done. And if there is any flaws in the software, that should be addressed gracefully. Yeah. What is quality control and quality assurance? So quality assurance is like giving an assurity that this product is good, and quality control is more about telling people, not people, but it's a like more of kind of procedure which we follow to make sure that product is good. Simple, very complicated thing, but just make sure this is only the quality control. And quality assurance, yes, it's more about prevention, and quality control is more about making ways how to prevent those things. Yeah. uh, and of course in Google, you Google it out, you'll get a lot of people talking about the quality control and quality assurance. uh, it's a tricky question, but make sure you just reply this in a single line. I'll tell you one thing: when you get such tricky questions from your interviewer, if you know the answer, just give a one liner. Don't try to elaborate more on that. uh, if you give an option like speak more on that, what it opens a door for an interviewer to ask you more question on that. So just make sure, if today if someone asks me also what is Java, I say Java is a programming language. That's it. I'll not make myself open for that question because that's my weak point. But yes, if someone again asks me, no, what is interface inside, then I say, okay, interface is this thing. But if I say, someone asks me, if Naveen interview me and say, do you know Java? Yes, I know Java. I know OOPS concept. I know this. I know that. And it opens up Naveen immediately saying, okay, what is OOPS? And I got stuck there, right? So make sure you, these kind of tricky questions, you always make sure give a very short and crisp answer, right? When to stop testing? When your client is saying, I have no money. No. No, so this is when it is done, when we say when to stop testing. Whenever your all happy path testing has been done, and happy path is again one the flow which we say is will never break flow. Those kind of flow is done, then you stop testing. When your release time is about to come, prior to that you will stop testing, and there is always a timeline attached to the testing. So you always get some time for the testing, and because testing is a never ending process. So but you need to say that, okay, I will be stopping my testing at this particular time when I have all my regression test cases got completed, or all the functional testing has been done. So these are the checklists, and this is mainly done by your test leads or person who is more experienced in your team, because this is more with the client interaction, where we negotiate with client on this. So we always say, the client asks, so how much testing do you require? So you'll say, okay, how much you want? Do you want all the functionality to cover? I'll cover that, and this will take this much time. So it depends. So when to stop? What is the right time to stop testing? Yeah, again, when you feel your team feels, yes, I have done all the happy path testing and I have taken care of all major defects. So yeah, again, yeah, defects, since we are talking about it, so there are some major, there are minor, and there are some low priority defects. So when you say we want to stop the testing, so you negotiate with your client saying when all the major or the tier 1 and tier 2 defects are closed, that is the moment I will think my testing is stopped. Okay, so it totally depends when you say that all, or when what we generally follow is when we release our product, we say no P1 defect should be open at the time of the release. If any P1 defect is open, I cannot release, and that is what we call showstopper bugs. And then you say no. That's where you get like, no, I will do more testing on that. But at a certain point, you'll say no P1 defects are open, I can stop my testing for this particular release, because the release also happens in step. It's not that you release your software on one way, right?
Yeah. Okay, in fact, we're running out of time now. It's 7:50 almost.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so we can
I
take
think
5 more minutes for 2 questions, and then we can have closing because it's been a long time.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, maybe
Speaking
about
about
twice.
testing is like, yeah,
Yeah, it's actually, when you talk about when you talk about the journal which you are working on, you cannot stop. Right? The same thing happens
yeah,
when I talk about Java. It's
yeah.
never stopping. But
And yeah, that's remind me one thing which always people say. I'll say, development and tester are never good friends.
yeah, but we
But we
are.
are. See, good friend is why we don't say. So yeah, this thing will always come to people. They will have this tricky question. I would say, yeah, because I generally ask this question. So what happens when we say good friends? They are always good friends, and you have to be very diplomatic in your answers. Because I don't like somebody pointing finger on me. If I am writing a code, I know I'm writing the best code. You are no one to point finger on me. But if you say it politely, respectfully, saying that okay, you have written a good code, but there is some flaws in the code, together we should fix this. When you use such terms, you get a good rapport with your development team, right? And believe me, you have to be getting a good rapport with your development team. Then only you can get a success in your testing field. Yeah. So let's take some questions from Naveen, which he might be pulling it from the live chat, right?
Yep. So maybe the question. Let me just put a question for you. Uh, okay. So question is, what is the future of Cucumber framework? I'm not sure if you, I mean, if you're working on
Yeah,
Cucumber.
yeah.
Yeah. So what is the future of Cucumber framework? Because there are many students asking me for Cucumber framework.
Correct, correct. So yeah. So student means it's for you who has asked,
I
or
don't know.
it's
Maybe I don't know. So I got this thing. I've just copied the question from the chat window. So
oh,
maybe
okay.
his friends, or maybe he's a
Right, right.
professor, and then I don't know.
Correct, correct. Maybe.
Not sure.
So yeah. So again, it's a automation testing framework, which is a Cucumber is more about BDD approach, which we say behavior driven testing. It's nowadays very much used in the company. So where the companies now work, earlier days it was more like a waterfall model where you developed a piece of code and then you test it and you release it. Now what is, you get a rapid development. If you don't do the rapid development, you are out of the market. So what happens, we work in agile manner. Now as a tester, you say, as a tester, so I'll take you a login screen. So let's say as a development, Naveen has made a login screen and he says, as a developer, I'm going to implement login screen. That's it. Now I, as a tester, I'm going to provide the username, I'm going to provide the password, and I will click on login button, and then it should authenticate me. So I, as a login, so this is one use case, what we say, it's a persona, you know wherein you believe that I, one of the person who is going to perform this activity, and then what the operation should happen. So this is why we do such kind of Cucumber framework, that gives you that option of writing in such way. So you write your test case in a way like, I as a user going to log in and I'll give successfully authenticated. Now in the background, the programming happens. In the background, the programming which happens is done either using Java or using Ruby. So Cucumber was initially made for Ruby, then it was implemented for Java. Again, it's a J unit. It is on the top of J unit, right? So Cucumber is on top of J unit, and it's used now. Nowadays, people are using it a lot. So, and what is the future? Yeah, future is this. So, and one thing, remember this, these kind of frameworks, if you're targeting to the service industries, there you will be using. If you're targeting for product industries, they don't go for this Cucumber framework until unless team is very new, because in product industries they mostly have some legacy products. I'm talking about the MNC which are running from the past 10 years or more. But the industries which are running right now, they go for these things. So it depends which company you are working in, right? Most of the testing frameworks are your, since we talk about, you have TestNG framework, JUnit framework, and then BDD Cucumber. Then you have Protector nowadays, which is very good. And in C# we use NUnit and the coded UI. So these are the few ones which are commonly being used. So these all are different kind of frameworks which are commonly used in this market right now.
Yeah, great. In fact, just to clarify, the person who has asked this question is a trainer.
Yeah.
So we got it in the chat. That's how we can figure out.
Right.
Great. In fact, we can take one more question and then we can sign off because it's been a long time. And let me pick up the last question. Okay, what's that? Question is it necessary for developers to learn software testing?
I, as a tester, if I am learning development, yes, you should. And I think I taken this question in earlier. I have explained wherein I say I'm not in, but in some of where talk I talked about the thing when if you are a tester and you're moving into development field. So yeah, as a tester, if you learn, sorry, as a developer, if you learn this testing, it helps your team. It helps a lot, and you have you got a weightage with your peers. You are on top of your peers. Your performance will be really good because you know that my if I get defects on my code. I think with development team also they have this defect count something, right? Your piece of code should not give more than these many codes. If it is giving more defects, that means something is wrong, right? So if you know testing, I wouldn't say you should know functional testing that much, but you should be knowing more of like API testing and REST API testing, or some backend testing, SQL testing. Those will really help you in your life, because one thing is more which is going in market. Only manual testing is not going to help you, and now the industry is looking for SDEC role. So that is what we call software development role, wherein you should be knowing testing, you should be knowing development. I think someone asked that nowadays people use hire these people. That is a different thing, but yes, you should, if you know both the parties, both side of the coin, you can think you are more secure in the company.
Okay.
So if you know only one side, yeah, you may stick with the company until unless company needs you. So right now, yeah, even I am learning development job, little bit of development I also do. Yeah.
Okay, great. So,
yes.
a tester should know development, and developers should know testers. So it's like a hand in hand.
Yeah. That's why they both should go, mix hand together. And it's just the other side of the coin, testing and development. At the end of the day, remember, you are giving a quality product, and it is up to you. Up to you means your team. You are not alone. You have your team which is responsible for delivering something which is good for humankind or for your client, and that can happen. And you see, if you're working in a small team, there they don't have like 2-3 testers, 4-5 developers. There are only 1 or 2 persons. He will only develop, he will only do everything, right? When I made my first project, I only tested it, I only developed it, and I only released it in the market. I think most of the engineering student might have done that kind of job, right? So you should be knowing each and everything. But yes, if you know everything, what happens, right? I'll tell you, when there will be, I think firing question was there, right? When there will be firing or any kind of layoff happening, you may will not consider, because you will be a kind of a more asset to the company, where you know everything, yeah. So that is how it goes. So I would say not only you should know development and testing, but also know few of the release management, because nowadays that is also which is why. So DevOps is something you should go for. Linux commands, you should be knowing Linux. Some little bit of the DBA options also you should be knowing. Yeah, database. Yeah. Those are the things you should be knowing. Yeah.
Great.
So if you know all, yeah.
So in fact, so you should know everything, right? I mean, you should be jack of all and master of one. So
great. Yeah. That's the correct word, I would say. Yeah, you should be knowing everything and mastery in one thing, because if you have mastered one thing, you can use same concept or same kind of things on your other things. Likewise, we say that like now, if we take simple examples, English, right? You mastered English. Now you're using that English in your programming. You're using it in your testing. When you write a program, I am sure you're like writing some documentation on that. How do you doing it? Using, say, because you know English, that's how you're writing. But if you didn't know English, how would you have done that? Now when you write defects, you have to use that, right? So yes, get everything but master one thing, I would say. Yeah. That is how. And whenever you are doing testing, don't take it or development, anything, don't just take it in that particular box. Think out of the box. Go out of the system and see what people are doing with your product, and then work on it. Yeah, I think yes, that's how the approach should be. And one thing before we conclude on this, Naveen, for especially for freshers, just make a note of this, or the people who are trying on the testing field for 1 year. I would say they should go for one programming language, and Java. Take Java as your preferred thing, because that's something which will be widely used in all the frameworks. Second, go with one operating system, and when we say operating system, not Windows on and off of the Windows. Just you should be knowing how to create AD, how to install or uninstall operating system, basically server. So if you can go with the Linux, it's well and good. And third, one DB. So DB SQL commands, basic SQL commands with join and unjoin, not much on that. You don't have to just mug everything, like that 1N norms are there, na 1M, 2M, 3N. Don't go for that, but you should be knowing basic SQL commands. So if this and these three things you should be knowing, and then your manual testing. If four of the things you know, I think you can easily get job in testing. But make sure that you know, and then go on this online, try to solve some puzzles online, because that is where you will be start thinking when you try to solve the problem. And one of the website, I would say, Naveen, I think they can go with UTest. So if you are looking for some free work in testing, someone might have done course in testing, but one thing they come in, where do I get live projects, right? So for that, they can go to UTest, is one website which offers you such kind of work. So you just work there, and they don't pay you much, but yeah, for experience you can just try out and there. Yeah, and there are a lot of things nowadays. Mobile testing is coming up, so there is a scope. Everything there is a scope. But learn one programming language, and Naveen is the best person to get in touch for programming. He teaches it really well.
Great. So thank you so much, Saurabh. It's been an awesome time with you. Especially,
Yeah.
I have learned so many things in testing. I'm not a tester, basically. I'm
Yeah.
more of a developer. But then I love testing. It's not that I hate testing. It's just that I don't know how to test properly.
Okay, so
But
I converted one developer to the tester. See.
yeah. Okay, maybe in future we'll be also making testing videos. I'm planning to make some test videos if I can learn something. So let's see how it goes. But thank you so much for everything, Saurabh. It's been you have taken your Sunday time for us, for the subscribers, and for me at least. So thank you so much. I hope you will join these type of sessions again with some other topic.
Right.
Yeah,
Correct,
maybe
correct.
we'll also
So,
spend on how to give interviews and how to prepare for the interviews.
right. Yeah, those are the things. Yeah, I think we should take those things. How to, and again, we can even talk about specific testing related, because these are more general question. I'm sure these questions were in everybody's mind, and to an extent, we were able to solve some of the query. Uh, and I know I haven't taken up every query. I'm sorry for that, but yes, to an extent, I just wanted to make sure that the fear should go out from the people, and they should start loving. And if I made you successfully love, I think one or two more have been there, right? So yeah.
So you are the engine here who converts the people to testers.
Right. Not about
Okay.
testing. I say take up anything, but take it seriously, right?
Yeah.
And it's not about testing, it's not about development. At the end of the day, you should feel that I have done something good for the mankind, right? And
Yeah,
I
that's
have
right.
delivered, and that feelings comes only when you talk about eureka moment. That eureka moment comes either you are in testing or in development, or your non-IT background, anywhere. Even if when I make tea, and if my tea is really good, that's a eureka moment for me. So yeah, things are there.
Okay. So that's great. Saurabh, it's been an awesome time with you. Again, we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
And so I hope everyone liked this session. I can see can see so many people have already watched this session. I will give you the stats later, Saurabh.
Oh, okay.
How many people have seen this video and how many comments we have. I do get all those stats.
Oh, right.
But people who are watching this, if you like this session, click on like button, because that's what motivates me and that's what motivates our expert to come on a live session. Because your likes will define how helpful this session was.
Correct.
Yeah. So in fact, Saurabh will have a good sleep only when he can see those likes, right, Saurabh?
Okay. Again, some ad was coming. Yeah. So I didn't catch your last one. What you just said. We are.
Okay, it's just that we get motivated by those likes on the video.
Yeah. The moment we get like, it's like, oh, I have done something. Right. So yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah.
So
and
one
thing more, everyone. One thing more. Be happy and try to break the software, but don't break your head. Yeah. And always keep smiling. Anything you are doing, just keep smiling. Try to love the work you are doing. As I say, love the work, but don't love the company. The moment you start loving the company, you don't know what happens next. Right?
That's great. And Saurabh, your boss knows now you don't love the company.
Oh, my every bosses know.
Great. So that's it, everyone. Signing off. It's been a long time. See you in the next live session, which is coming next week. And we'll have another industry expert. We'll talk about some other topic. And all your questions, welcome all your questions in this chat window or in the comment section of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.